So I met someone recently who was looking through my YouTube videos and saying how he resonated with my content, didn't feel as if he was my audience, and I was curious why. And he said, I just sort of felt you catered more to women. And I thought that was such an interesting comment because I have a lot of male clients as well as female clients. I did an SoulWisdom course last year about connecting with our soul and intuition. And the majority of people that are interested in that were female, but actually a lot of my one-to-one consistent clients are male. And in my new offering Awaken as Love, which is working with me one-to-one, actually a lot of males are interested. So it made me feel that perhaps a lot of everyone, like lots of different people, resonate with my message, but perhaps feel as if I'm not speaking to them, particularly men. So I wanted to do a video and just say, hey men, I'm speaking to you too. And so sort of going into a bit of my work, I feel my work is so experiential, but I can say I feel as if many people come to me because they have a certain problem and pattern that they want to find ways to deeper integrate into their experience, but really rather it's as if there's so much knowing, like spiritual knowing and knowing about consciousness, and there is a deep desire to embody that knowing in their daily life, to really realize everything they've learned through their devotional practices or reading or sitting with master plant medicines, just sort of this remembrance journey that so many of us are on. And yet somehow for so many of us, it hasn't actually actualized and taken form into our daily lives. And I really support people with realizing what is it that has kept that out of integration, realization, like that deep remembrance that takes form and is able to be actualized in relationships and jobs and our capacity to fill out our taxes and our and the ways we show up in our family. And so this is what I support people with, and it really is genderless, and it resonates with so many human beings, and I work with non-human beings as well. But when we go through, like, what is the core wound, or where, if we think of it in constellations, they use this term as if we are constantly coming from the flow of love, and somewhere that it's like if you see a tube and water gushing through, somewhere that tube has gotten disconnected. And what we do is kind of find where it has gotten disconnected within the field of consciousness and reconnect the flow of love, which we are constantly present to. It's just there's like a forgetting. And in that forgetting, that could happen in our ancestral lineages, our soul lineages, and parallel lives within our nuclear family, or how we connect with the collective consciousness personally. And this is really where I'm quite skilled and adept in, is which understanding where in all of these systems and these fields of consciousness, like how our solar system is orienting, and there's a place of forgetting of that original divine nature. And this is where culture or gender, race can come into play. So because we all have particular stories and conditionings that we have been born into within our particular body form, and how is that coming to life in our interactions with these patterns in our personal lives that we're looking to evolutionize. So for males, it can kind of take the form of being myself, and encapsulating my power is synonymous with perpetration because of the patriarchy we're in, and that is not naturally true. But where is it? Like, what ancestor is one being sympathetic in which that's true? Where in the collective are we connecting to? Because it's where that has a truth in the collective, but that's not actually the truth of existence in life. So how can we reform that to be in that flow of acceptance, and also noticing, like, we all have conditioning based on trauma because of the stimuli we have been influenced with, and how can we notice that in gentleness, recognize it, and sort of accept it, release it, allow it to be in its right place and not in our field, so that we can move forward in the full light of our being and of our soul, and live empowered and beautiful divine lives. And for women, it takes a form of like, where have I been silenced or hung as a witch and like disabled from my power. And like, where is that still living inside of me, and alchemizing that to come into truth. And then for men, it can be like, when was that life, that parallel life where I hung witches and then disconnected myself from my own sense of divinity and my soul and my voice because of that trauma? There's so much pain. Like, pain is the fabric which we're all connected through. Whether you're in the position of a perpetrator, a victim, or a bystander, there is pain. And so much of what I do is understanding how that pain is still holding us in powerlessness and in fear of being ourselves, and allowing that story to sort of release from our nervous systems and enacting a more true story, like connecting with the terra firma. The terra firma is the earth that has always been in its abundant, beautiful state of place. And maybe it's not even the terra firma at this point. Like, I'm like, oh, that's maybe 2020 language. Now in 2021, it is the infinite, eternal, forever. That's like both ancient and future. It's just natural. Like, what language just really feels present now is like our natural origin codes, and disconnecting our nervous system from the geopolitical earth that has kept us in these stories of separation. Yeah, so that's a bit of my work. And culture does play into it, and it's really like, how can we hold culture from compassion? Like, whether it is that you have ancestry that were slaves, or you have ancestry that were slave owners, that can play into our daily lived experience right now. But it's sort of, how do we hold that micro event in the macro of our beingness, and the like multidimensional internality of our soul, not saying one is of more importance than the other, but really kind of holding them equally, and then holding ourselves. And I feel like that's kind of when we come into a concept called empathy thirds and Trinity consciousness, and we kind of hold ourselves in multiplicity rather than in polarity and duality. And I feel like from that place, none of us needs to be denied. All of us is accepted, but also through that acceptance, some things are just naturally able to be transmuted and released. Yes, this is my sharing. So essentially, I'm saying, men, I'm speaking to speaking to women, I'm speaking to people of all backgrounds and descents, from all places in the world. I work with people from everywhere, and I deeply, deeply enjoy it. I really love and am quite skilled at understanding the nuance, faculties and variations of our map system of consciousness that we all are in, and how we can kind of bring that system into flow of love, to relax and be ourselves, because that's what we're here to be, is ourselves. To become ourselves at from the depths of our inner beings. So much love to you. If you have any questions or comments, please put them below, and I will link. My website is below, and I'll also just like put my email if you just want to email me about this and how this may or may not be applicable to you. So much love. Have a beautiful moment wherever this moment finds you.